Please welcome the Honorable Senator from New Jersey, Bob Menendez.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Harold. You know, my friends, government is all about making choices. And sometimes they're difficult choices. But folks, this isn't one of them. It's time to get teachers off the unemployment line and back into the classroom teaching our children. It's time to get cops off of the job beat and back on the beat, patrolling our communities and creating a safer opportunity. It's time to get the firefighters off of the job search and into the search and rescue that helps save our families at critical times. Now, Senator McConnell, the Republican leader, opposes this bill. I was on the floor when he said it because it's a bailout, he says. Because he has no problem with a bailout, however, to big oil companies and billionaires, but he has a problem with helping working families in this country. This isn't a handout. This is lifting up our officers, our firefighters, our teachers, our families, and improving the quality of their lives. I thought that's what government was all about at the end of the day. They need to learn that our children need a quality teacher in the classroom to help educate and fulfill their God-given potential. They need to learn that communities need someone to protect them. And it's perfectly fine in a society to say to those who are among the wealthiest, to say we need shared sacrifice. We are asking working families in this country time and time again to sacrifice. It's okay for those who have been successful to do 0.5% to be able to make the common good a reality. I don't want to be in a position where the American dream that has been the birthright of each and every American willing to work hard and sacrifice is robbed. I want each and every one of our children to have the same opportunity that I did growing up poor in a tenement in New Jersey, the first in my family to go on to college. What made a difference in my life was a teacher who turned my life around, and I want that to be true for every kid in every classroom in America. There are 300,000 education jobs that are on the chopping block right now. New Jersey lost over 6,000 teachers since 2008, 4,000 cops since 2009, 7,000 fewer firefighters on the job nationwide. They need to know, in the capital city of my state, Trenton, that they had to lay off 105 police officers. And last weekend, there was no one to keep the crowds back at the crime scene or enough cops to help people push back so that firefighters and emergency technicians could ultimately respond to those who had been hurt. We're not going to stand in the way of making this progress, and we're not going to allow them to stand in the way anymore. We can teach them a lesson about what our country needs by passing the Menendez, Stabenow, Casey Teachers and First Responders Back to Work Act now. We remember. Those of us who live in the New York, New Jersey region remember that fateful day on September 11th. It was not the federal government that responded to the tragedy at the World Trade Center. It was local police officers, local firefighters, local emergency management. We called them heroes, and they are, and it's time to put the heroes back to work again on behalf of America. It's time to put those 18,000 cops back on the beat. It's time to put those 10,000 firefighters responding to emergencies and more than 400,000 educators teaching our kids. It's about $30 billion to state and local communities to retain, to hire, to rehire those teachers who educate tomorrow's entrepreneurs. You know, in China, education is rising. They're having more teachers. And guess what? Their economy is rising. In India, they're spending more money on education. And guess what? Their economy is rising. Well, we want this economy to be rising too, and that's why we have to put teachers back into work. So we have a choice. We have a choice. For me, we can fulfill our duty to educate our children and protect our communities, or we can gamble our future away on the political games that the Republicans here in the Senate seem to be all about. You know, I come to work every day and my focus is, how do I grow this economy? How do I get people back to work? How do I get companies to hire people? How do I get lending to take place to our small businesses? How do I make this economy prosper so that we can get people back to work, have the dignity of work, fulfill the nation's mission, and ultimately achieve our hopes and dreams and aspirations? I don't come to work saying, how do I make Barack Obama a one-term president? I come to work saying, how do I make America greater? And that should be the focus of our work. So, I say to all of our friends, think about that moment, God forbid, when you have to pick up the phone and call the police department because someone is breaking into your home. Think about that moment in which your home got caught on fire and you have to call the fire department to respond. Think about that child who you want everything in the world for, and it all starts with a great education. If you think about those things, then you will be voting in common cause with us to let us proceed to a debate and then a final vote to get our teachers, to get our firefighters, to get our police officers, and to get America back to work. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Senator.